Good afternoon, everyone. Dear authors and invited guests, welcome to Technical Session 2A. Myself, Ishita Sauryan, and this session will be moderated by me. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the 8th International Conference in Smart Trends in Computing and Communication, SMARTCOM 2024, Pune, India. The 8th edition of the conference is being organized in a hybrid mode. The physical event is organized today in Pune, India, and the virtual event is being held through Zoom today and tomorrow, that is 12th and 13th of January 2024. I hope you will all enjoy the knowledgeable interactive sessions through the day. In this session, we have 10 presentations. Each presenter will be given 8 minutes for the presentation and 2 minutes for the question and answers. On 7 minutes, I will raise a gentle reminder. There is another request to all the participants that you all stay connected with us till the closing remarks. If you have any query or update, then you can write it to me in the chat box. Just before we get started, I would like to introduce you all to the chair for this session. We have with us Dr. Vijeta Kumawat, Deputy HOD and Associate Professor in Department of CSE at Jaipur Engineering College and Research Center. She has 17 years of teaching experience as Head of Department and Associate Professor. She has 2 Indian patents, expertising in ADHOC networks, wireless sensor networks, and Internet of Things. She has over 45 international and national publications. Having attended over 50 seminars and workshops, she has also organized various conferences and seminars, the IUCEE, IEEE, CSI, and Department of Science and Technology. We welcome you, ma'am. We'll be beginning with our papers. We have our first presenter for this session, Mahavir Kannan, with the paper titled A Structure Forecasting Stomach Cancer Using Deep Learning and Advanced Tongue Characteristics. You may please start with the presentation, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Shall I share the screen?
Yes, sir, please. You may.
Ma'am, screen will be visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, good afternoon to one all present here. My project, the paper title is a structure for forecasting stomach cancer using deep learning and advanced tongue characteristics. So myself, Dr. Mahavir Kannan, Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Savita School of Engineering, Savita Institute of Medical and Technical Sciences. So next we will see the abstract. So my abstract is the global health problem of gastric cancer has significantly impacted people's daily lives. So early detections and rapid treatment of stomach cancer patients considerably contribution in protecting human health. So routine gastric cancer tests, however, are time consuming and run the risk of consequences. So the performances of the current tongue segmentation algorithm in a typical context is very good. So here my title involved a method for investigating the connections between the cancer and stomach and tongue traits is provided by a structure to forecast gastric cancer that was developing by using statistical and deep learning approaches. Next, introduction. So here a diagnostic method called tongue diagnosis can be used to quickly determine a patient conditions. So the physical characteristics of the tongue are related to the functions of the organs as well as the physical state. By examining the patient change in tongue features, practitioners can create a treatment for the related conditions and determine the severity of the patients. So digital analysis of tongue features has led to the development of quick and easy disease detection method. Here the investigations of the relationship between the tongue features and illness has become more objective thanks to the widespread usage of artificially intelligent tools in the medical field. So this is a schematic representations of the overview of our framework. So first one, in our framework, automatically recognize and learn tongue traits. Deep learning has been used. And links between the tongue characteristics and illness have been established to suspect diseases including cancers of the breast, hypertension, and stomach cancer. So for literature, the tongue coating thickness and high throughput sequencing have both been used to analyze the people with stomach cancer oral microbiome. This approach does have a limited sensitivity to, and it is frequently to the microbial density. So the figure, the previous figure will shows the points of the overall frameworks It offers a much method for examining the how features of the tongue and gastric cancers are related. These are some related works. So 2022, Zhang et al. Developed a non-instructive extremely behavioral lifestyles. Zhu et al. Employed machine learning methods to create a non-surgical forecast algorithm for the risk of stomach cancer. In the year 2015, the author will describe employing tongue lint and tongue pigment. So 2000 method, the patient's psychological state, the testing environment, and the analysis method are all variables that can affect the outcomes of breath analysis. So this is one of the method used tongue image segment. So the level, very high level and the low level segmentation, properties of the oral pictures are extracted and combined using the deep law B3 plus structure. So that is the explanations of the tongue image segmentations. In order to examine the difference between the tongues of the people which is stomach cancer and people without the disease, 9 tongue traits were retrieved using the combined expertise of multiple experts. The following sequence contains a list of extracted tongue traits. There are 3 parts. There is 3 types of tongue shapes. Fat, one is first one is a fat. The second one is a thin and normal. Tongue with a tooth mark on normal. On the tongue, there are spots and prickles in a normal range. Standard dry saliva. So these are the our implementation statistical method were used to compare the variation in oral characteristics between the group of patients with the control group and stomach cancer. So these are the some statistical analysis graph. These are the table which is the stomach cancer patients and healthy controls were compared in the terms of tongue characteristics. These are the some characteristics we are used. So importance of tongue characteristics. The features importance analysis of technique, neural network model, computational efficiency and accuracy by removing tongue features that affected prediction. This led to a decrease in the number of characteristics that were entered into the neural network model. So another graph, comparison of the characteristics of the tongue in those with the gastric cancer. So in this figure, we will explain the tongue characteristics of individual with the stomach cancers are correlated. The association between the two tongue traits is shown in the correlation graph by dark colors. Then the findings indicates that the fatty tongue layer and the sticky tongue layer had a high probability of linkages. So next to the result. So the table will various segregations of network results. So these are the 3 methods used, PSP net and UNet and deep law B3 plus. So these are the percentage. We are using MPA and MIOU. So 97.54 percentage, while in case of MIOU, 96.56. So here UNet 98.54 percentage. In case of MIOU, 97.10 percentage. So in case of deep law B3 BV3 plus 96.90 percentage. In case of MIOU, 95.92 percentage. So this table will gives the classifications of final outcomes. So result, control and stomach. So control picture 1, picture 2, picture 3, 14%. These are the various percentage. So at last the picture 4 will gives the 96.18 percentage. So conclusion, the biggest health issue facing people everywhere is cancer. It is now easier and more accurate to identify gastric cancer thanks to the advancement of artificial intelligence technologies in medicine. So nowadays in medicine, so much of artificial intelligence techniques will be involved. With the help of deep learning and tongue features analysis, we develop a structure for forecasting stomach cancer in this research. The approach provides non-invasive and practical patient identifications for stomach cancer. The deep lab with BV3 plus structure is used to precisely categorize the oral area after oral pictures have been captured using a typical tongue picture capture tool. With the assistance of trained medical professionals, 9 tongue pictures are retrieved and statistical and deep learning technique are used to investigate the associations between the extracted features and gastric cancer. So these are the some journal referred. Thank you. Ma'am?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're on.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it was a very fantastic topic of your presentation, and
Okay.
the work you have showed is really appreciable.
Okay.
I just want to ask that the where you have predict the data, where you take the data to complete these results.
Ma'am, using data sets, I will take and compare with the proposed methodology, madam.
Okay, can you explain this methodology?
That is a B. 1 second, madam.
Just open the slide.
Okay.
Yeah,
1 second. So
yeah.
that is a deep lab V3 plus, madam. I will take this. This is a proposed technology. Will improve the accuracy.
Okay. Okay. Okay, good. Okay,
Okay,
keep
ma'am.
it up. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, next paper.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
We'll be proceeding with our next presenter. I'd like to invite MB Chande to present the paper titled An Approach to Detect Violations of Social Distancing Norms in Public Domain. You may start with your presentation, sir.
Just a minute. I'm just sharing the screen.
Sure, sir.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah. Very good afternoon to all respected session chair. I am Dr. M.B. Chandak. I am professor in Department of Computer Science Engineering at RCU in Nagpur. And my co-author is Dr. Sunita Rawat. The work I am presenting is basically related to a fact of social distance violation, which was one of the very hot topic during COVID-19. So it is an approach to detect the violation of social distancing norms in public domain. This idea can be implemented at multiple places. I'm just trying to start with what is the first part of this idea. So I'll be covering these points. One is introduction, literature review, what is the problem, material and methodology, results, conclusion, and references. So basic idea is to develop a novel method by which we can address the distancing norm between two people standing at the public any particular public utility. For example, in the slide you can see that people are standing in the billing counter, and at billing counter the problem is like whenever we go to, for example, any particular mall or store, we find that that billing counter and management at billing counter creates lot of trouble, and customer satisfaction at that point is one of the important aspect of that particular store. Like popularity of that particular store depends upon the customer satisfaction. So main objective is to minimize that billing time, customer satisfaction, as well as maybe at a larger scale we just want to have a overall norm of overall following the norm of social distancing. So what we have designed is a utility which will be basically working on a backend AI engine, and that backend AI engine will decide few things like whether there is a big queue, whether there is a need of adding a new billing counter, and so on. So there are a lot of papers on this. Two main papers which we have referred, or we basically consider it as our base papers, are semantic video object detection and social distancing in terms of social distancing with respect to physical distancing. So one of the major idea which was given in first paper was semantic parsing, wherein like the rules related to identifying the objects in the video are given, and in the second there is a concept of normalization, and we combine these two to generate a novel idea. So I'm coming to what is the research component. So if you look at in the diagram here in the adjacent part of this slide, right hand side, there are three people moving on the road, and these people are marked in a red frame. So this is what is our idea. First is to basically process the input which is coming through some CCTV camera or any particular video frame, identifying the objects in that, then detecting whether whether those objects are basically having a necessary distance between them, and then finally understanding whether there is a need of additional resources to handle such objects. So idea is basically complete product wherein we can decide upon whether there is a need of additional billing counters in particular store so as to improve the customer satisfaction. Our solution is based on a cloud technology. So what we are doing is we are just inputting the video. Those videos are fetched from the S3 bucket of Amazon Cloud. And from those videos, the frames are generated. Those frames are then further broken into small frames, and we detect the object. Object detection is basically carried out using a ready product of Amazon called as Amazon Recognition. And then all these objects are stored in a database, and finally the analysis of database is performed. So what is the important component of this whole concept is the product given by Amazon called as Amazon Recognition Tool. So this particular tool is capable of putting labels, content moderation, text detection in the video, celebrity recognitions, and also this tool was initially was made capable of recognizing whether people are coming in the camera are wearing some personal protective equipment like helmet or PPP kit, of which was very popular during the COVID-19 scenario. So this is what is happening. Problem looks simple, but because of the video image, the problem is slightly complex. So if you look at this particular slide here, at the bottom of this, there is an image, and there are people standing in a queue, and there is one person adjacent to this third person. So the idea is not to calculate the distance between the people only standing in the queue, but people standing across. So this brings some complexity in the whole process. So we are not talking about 1 point distance, we are talking about multi-point distance here. And as well as giving a recommendation based on what type of distance being followed between two people. So this is one major complex component of the project. We have used a Euclidean distance concept here in order to handle this multi-point distance between two objects. Similarly, very important is video is a continuous continuous frame data, and what we are analyzing is a static frame data. So normalization of video into frame and then computing distance is also important here. At the same time, if two objects are not in line with each other, then the distance computation becomes more complex. So we are talking about diagonal, horizontal, vertical distance computation between two objects. We actually implemented this whole project at different locations in Nagpur and found that there are some places where lot of density is there, and there are some places where there is safe distance is maintained between the people, and these all things are actually handled through the camera input which we got from the various sources. This slide shows the results there. And also what has been found is that at a particular period, at particular time, in particular locality, there is a large violation, as well as at some particular period of time there is no violation. These are the conclusion. Major research component in this is analysis of CCTV footages, at the same time finding whether there is a need of additional resource, and then checking whether there is a safe distance maintained between the two entities in the frame, and just to avoid the spread of disease. These are the references. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
What are the future scope for this project?
So basically, madam, nowadays what is happening is there are areas which are basically marked as no flying zones, and people are basically trying to violate that particular component. So they are just pushing their drones in those no flying zones. Now, this particular idea can be very easily implemented for identifying whether there is any object in no flying zone, as well as whether two objects there is a possibility of collision, because those drones will be basically controlled from remote devices, or they will be basically programmed drones. So this idea can be integrated at the chip level and can help in making that decision faster and smoother.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Should I move on the next paper?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. We have our next presenter, Kishore Kumar Nayak, with the paper titled Detection of Malnutrition in Children Using Deep Learning Model. You may start with your presentation, sir.
Hello, is my slides are visible?
Yes, sir, they're visible.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay.
Please begin.
Good afternoon, one and all. Myself, Kishore Kumar. I'm completed my MTech from Department of ISC from NMIT Bangalore. My project is about detection of malnutrition in children using deep learning model. I have completed this project under the guidance of my professor, Dr. Vidya Devi Ji Birda, a professor in the Department of ISC. So this the table of contents which I'm going to explain is about the introduction, problem statement, and the literature survey which I have carried on, about the data set which I have used, and the proposed work, methodology and implementation, results and discussions, and the image results probability, conclusion for the work, and also references. So coming to the introduction, we all know that the malnutrition poses an seriously health threat global, especially for the underdeveloped countries. So leading a high rates of illness and death, so particularly among the children. So detecting and addressing the malnutrition at the early stages is crucial for every underdeveloped countries. So through image analysis. So next is the problem statement. The problem statement of this project is to develop a non-invasive method for detecting the malnutrition in children with a focus on reducing discomfort for patients. So the project aims to assess the nutritional status of children by analyzing the indices such as an healthy and a malnourished one. So the objective is to implement a deep learning algorithm on a large scale to enable the detection of malnutrition in a broader population, and also calculating with an performance matrices for calculating the model performance such as accuracy, precision, recall, and FN score. So coming, this is a literature survey which I have carried on. The paper which I have carried on is basically for the past 3 years, which I have which related to the malnutrition. These are the papers which I have gone through. So coming to the data set, initially the paper which I have gone through, they all used the data set which is then openly source available, open source data set, but have tried a different way where the data set which I have used for the problem state is scraped manually from the website. But here the web scraping techniques, and also I have used a stable diffusion, which is a generative AI model for generating the synthetic child images. So the here I used the synthetic images which is generated from the stable diffusion for training the model, and for the testing purpose I used the real world data which is scraped from the open sources. So the stable diffusion model which I have used is the basic model, which is stable diffusion V15. So coming to the proposed work, so data collection. So as I said before, the data collection, the paper contributes includes a Python web scraper, which is the scraping the data using the Chrome extension zip, and a web scraper.io tool, which is used for scraping the data from the websites. And these tools are used to gather the images from the various online sources. The data set which have scraped the websites are like Git images and the Shutterstock, and the stable diffusion model which is used for generating a synthetic images by varying a different prompt text. It is basically like a text to image generation. So coming to the pre-processing steps, the pre-processing techniques I have applied for the collected images, including normalizations and the randomly sized and making in the standard size of 224 cross 224 pixels. and I have used the different image augmentation techniques like an horizontal flipping, color jitter, random rotations, and random offense and random perspective to enhance the dataset diversity. So residual learning, because of due to the imbalanced dataset, to address the challenge of the imbalanced dataset, I use the image augmentation to mitigate the risk of overfitting the model. So utilizing the ResNet 18 model here, the model which I've used is the ResNet 18 model, which is a pre-trained model to employed for the classification. For the classification purpose, for classification process, the image goes to the classification involving the resizing and augmentation. The image augmentation is achieved through random horizontal flips and cropping operations. So it is the methodology and implementation where initially the text prompt for image generation is given by varying a different text prompts, which is given to the stable diffusion model, which I have said before, B15. Once the stable diffusion models generates the images based on the text, which is a synthetic images. The synthetic images are manually annotated. Then it is given to the image database. After that, the image is split into two, which is the training and testing. And we have loaded the pre-trained models and reviewing the modify the network by varying the learning rates, batch size, and loss functions. And after the resizing, we use the transfer learning and train the model. Once the model is trained, the checkpoint is saved. So the checkpoint is saved. So using the web scraper tool, the images are scraped from the Getty images and Shutterstock, and it is also manually annotated, and it is also resized. Then the images is given to the model checkpoint, which is load, and classifying the images. It is belongs to the category for a malnutrition or a nourished one. So these are the results and discussions. Each individual graphs shows for the different learning rates for the optimizers. So initially it's a model performance. The initial graph shows the Adam optimizer with the learning rates from 0.1 to 0.000, varying for four different learning rates. So it consists of the accuracy, loss, and the F1 recall precision, F1 score. So different learning rates. So I have model where I have used it for four optimizers such as Adam, RMS prop, and one more is the SGD gradient and the Adam X. Four different optimizers I have used. So the graph, I showed the graph before. It is in numerical representation. So batch size and loss function. The batch size I use it as a constant. The batch size will be 4, and the loss function I use a binary cross entropy because it's a binary classification. And for the different learning rates, like I said before, 0.1 to 0.0001, I have calculated the precision, recall, F1 score along with the training accuracy, validation, training loss, validation loss, along with the training time also. So these are the four optimizers: Adam W, Adam Max, RMS Prop, and SGD. So after going through this one, four different learning rates for the four different optimizers. And these are the images result where I have shown the it is the model predicted probability for the real world images, where the model is trained on the synthetic images and the model performance is calculated on the text images, which is scraped from the real world data. So each image shows the individual probability. What is the probability classifying the images as such as a malnutrition or a nourished one? So conclusion. So I have used the ResNet 18 layer pre-trained model for the better results compared to the other CNN. I have smaller learning rates. The model learns better and provides the good results. The model is learned well for the data set, which is basically on the synthetic data, which is a transformer model. So the ResNet model, along with the four optimizers with the different learning rates, the Adam Max optimizer works well with the learning rate for 0.0001 with accuracy of 0.95 and validation accuracy of 0.96. So further work, initially in my work, I worked the images which I have taken is based on the height, weight, and age. In the further process, I used to take the considering the parameters like demographic locations and other mid-arm circumference and clinical signs of the malnutrition and biochemical test and precision medical align with the demand of the precision medicine, developing models for the target interventions based on a specific malnutrition subtypes. So different types of the malnutrition, example stunting, wasting, and overweight. So overcome for detection to proactive intervention by interacting treatment plans based on the classification of ones by recognizing the what type of malnutrition they are suffering from and giving the specified treatment plans. So collaborate with the nutrition and medical experts to craft with a comprehensive personalized treatment strategies. What are the treatment plans need to be given for that kind of malnutrition? And utilize mobile apps for real-time monitoring and for the enabling large-scale data and collection and predictive models, proactive healthcare interventions. So these are the references which I have gone through. Thank you. So any questions?
Yeah, it's a very good presentation.
Thank you.
Just I want to ask that what challenges you are facing to implement this project?
Ma'am, since I have used the stable diffusion model, so because the images are synthetic, if they don't have any domain knowledge, since I have working on the medical domain, if I don't have any medical domain, like what will be the, how can we consider say that the child is suffering from we can say that the child is, if he is severely suffering from a overnutrition, we can say that. How can we find it if he's suffering from a moderate? We have to consult the doctors, we have to show the images. So since I am taking only height, weight, and age, it will be depending on the age and height, we can consider that the children is suffering. But when it comes to the other parameters like an underarm circumference, because the different demographic location, there will be different parameters. So
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, and when we resizing the image, then
Yes,
there
ma'am.
is any effect on the actual image?
No, ma'am.
Yes.
It's ma'am, because I want to train the model in such a way that it should be include even the arm part. It's like not in a whole body part. Even it's an arm part, it should be recognized by considering the image. So it's suffering from a nourished one or malnourished one.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Next.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We'll be proceeding with our next paper presenter. I'd like to invite Renuka Deshmukh to present a paper titled E-Government as a Digital Innovation, Indian Perspective. You may start with your presentation, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I'll just share my screen.
Sure, ma'am.
Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Yeah. So, good morning, all the panel members and judges. So, I'm from. Just checking my website. I'm Dr. Renuka Deshmukh, representing MIT World Peace University, Pune. So my title is E-Governance and Digital India. So the basic purpose here of this paper is to understand the developments, the existing scenario, and the infrastructure available and the funding part. So these were the different objectives of this paper. So to start with, we will just go through the changing canvas of India, digital India framework, e-governance initiatives, role of Indian industry, challenges in the implementation. So this paper will take us to the following points. So we have come along a long way, as we all know, since independence. So these are the certain milestones which we have achieved till date. So after independence, we have gone through all these major challenges like green revolution, industrial revolution, economic liberalization, along with all these years high growth phase, digital revolution, and now 2020 onwards the government is focusing on the digital India, we all know, and these are certain facts and figures which we have tried to understood and implement and reflect in our paper. So through all these years we have gone through all these developments. Department of Electronics was established in 1777. We have introduced National Informatics Center, use of computers began, launch of NICNET, National Task Force on IT and Software Development, Univer Ministry, then National E-Government Plan, Digital India. Is my screen moving, ma'am? Just sorry to interrupt. Uh, Okay, then the National E-Government 11th to 5-year plan. So from 2006 to 2011, so under that, different initiatives were taken under NEGP, that is statewide area networks, state data centers, common services centers, electronic forms through state portal, SSDG, e-district, 31 mission mode projects. Then current e-government plan, that is 12 to 5-year plan, was from 2012 to 17. So deliver all the government services in electronic mode for transparency, efficiency, and easy accessibility. Create shareable resources for all government entities, deliver both information and transaction of government services over mobile, build shared service platforms to accelerate e-government project implementation, create safe and secure cyberspace, create ecosystem that promotes innovation in ICT for governance, increase all-round awareness and citizen engagement, availability of data as possible in public domain for productive use by citizens. So Digital India initiative has been launched on July 3, 2015. So around 1.13 lakhs crore cost with a vision to digitally empower each and every citizen of the country. Then what is Digital India? So to make India ready for the knowledge-based future, focus of rupees 1.13 lakh crore initiative is on using technology to create a participative, transparent and responsive government. So providing high-speed internet, shareable private space on a public cloud and creating a safe and secure cyberspace. Seamless integration across departments, jurisdictions, ensuring availability of services in real time from online and mobile platforms for each of doing business, leveraging geographical information system, that is GIS, take digital literacy to the next level, providing digital resources in Indian languages, citizens not required to submit physical documents. So later on, the next slide, pillar 9 pillars of digital India. So broadband highways, universal access to mobile connectivity, public internet access program, e-governance, reforming government through technology, e-kranti, electronic delivery of services, information for all, electronics manufacturing, IT for jobs, early harvest programs. So these are the 9 pillars of digital India. Broadband highways. So, as we all know, broadband for all, that is even under rural areas. So, 250,000 village panchayats to be covered under the National Optical Fiber Network, that is NOFN. The National Information Infrastructure, Public Internet Access Programs. So, under that, we have common service centers, post offices as multi service centers, universal access to phones. So these are the certain developments and initiatives undertaken. E-governance. Under e-governance, online applications and tracking, form simplification and field reduction. So online repositories are there. E-Kranti. E-Kranti is the biggest program within Digital India and focuses on a mobile first approach. Then we have e-education, free Wi-Fi in all schools and providing massive online open courses, that is MOOCs. Then e-healthcare, online medical consultation, online medical records, online medicine supply, pan India, exchange for patient information, etc. Then we have technology for farmers, like real time information, online ordering of inputs and online cash loan and relief payment with mobile banking. Technology for security, that is mobile based emergency services and disaster related services on real time basis. Technology for cyber security. So National Cyber Security Coordination Center would be set up to ensure safe and secure cyberspace within the country. Technology for financial inclusion through the use of mobile banking, micro ATM program, and CSC post offices. Technology for justice, so e-courts, e-police, e-prosecution. So e-Kranti is transforming e-governance for transforming governance. So Then we have information for all. Under that, open data platform, engagement through social media, mygovernment.in, the website crowdsources ideas from the public for design of programs such as better traffic management, using big data for making cities smarter. Then online messaging to citizens on special occasions. Then we have electronics manufacture. So three pillars focuses on promoting electronics manufacturing in the country with the target of net zero imports by 2025 as a striking demonstration of intent. Then IT for jobs, early harvest programs. So apart from that, various other initiatives and infrastructure has been developed. So under that, we will be covering the next slide, Digital India and e-governance. So under that, we have e-governance, government to business, government to government, e-trade, e-delivery, e-filing, e-payment, e-BRC, online dissemination of policies, e-procurement, e-health records, web-based, blood bank management system, government to citizens. We have e-district, agricultural education, e-transport, online urban admin department. So going to the next slide, National E-Governance Plan and Overview. So here, the strategy to realize an EGP vision is centralized initiative, decentralized implementation, focus on services and service levels, ownership and central role of line ministries, state governments, emphasis on public-private partnership. So also we have a lot of funding support from the government received for this specific purpose. So going to the next slide, policy initiatives, certain policy initiatives by government, that is DIETY for e-governance, Ministry of Technology. So policy on adoption of open source software for government of India. Then we have framework for adoption of open source SW in e-governance systems. We have policy on open application programming interfaces, that is APIs for government of India, email policy of GOI, policy on the use of IT resources of government of India, policy on the collaboration application development by opening the source code of government applications, application development and re-engineering guidelines for cloud ready applications. So these are the major initiatives taken by government. Then e-governance in rural and urban India. So under rural, agricultural, land record management, disaster management, local information and panchayat, these are the areas where government has focused for the development. Then under urban, transportation, online payments and taxation, information and public relation key services, municipal services, roads and traffic management. So we have various
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry for the
Yes,
interruption, but your slides aren't moving.
they aren't
You're
moving.
still on the
Okay,
third slide.
okay, ma'am. I'll just try to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are the policy initiatives which I have described. E-governance under rural and urban area. So online service component. So we have Aadhaar card, under that we have digital locker, e-sign, financial, that is paid e-government, Jan Dhan Yojana, mobile enablement like mobile seva, mobile based digital identity, e-participation and open data initiatives. So as we all know, we have all actually enrolled for this Aadhaar card, e-sign, pay government, DigiLocker, e-tal. So e-tal is a web portal for dissemination of e-transaction statistics of national and state level e-governance projects, including mission mode projects. So the Janadhan Yojana. So under this, various people have benefited till now, as per the analysis done and the statistics received. So mobile seva, mission mode projects in e-districts, e-Kranti mission, open data initiatives, public internet access programs, National Optical Fiber Network, National Digital Literacy Mission, e-Bhasha, Digital India expected to fuel. Now coming to the funding part, so government have actually funded a lot of amount for the development of this mission. So building digital India investment opportunities. So coming to this slide, building broadband infrastructure, creating identity solutions, payment systems, web of mobile based delivery structures, cyber security. So these are the amount of like statistics which I have received till date, the amount and funding part. So economical impact, so this much amount is already spent till date, and impact of digital India program. So the impact is like people are benefiting, and the task whatever is like payment system or banking and everything is now eased. People are at ease, they don't have to go to the branch every time physically. Economic impact, so yes, a lot of benefit is received to the country also at national international level. Impact of digital India program, this we have covered. E-governance programs making impacts, so these are the major areas or maybe initiatives we can say through which the government the initiatives of government through which the country has benefited. Challenges in implementation, so technical challenges, organizational challenges, economical challenges. So these are the challenges which were there, but now they are overcome through the efforts of the government and uh, everyone, like the citizens as well, with the help of citizens as well. So technical challenges are privacy, security, then organizational challenges like lack of integrated services, strategic control of government, lack of key persons, population, different languages, exit management, and economical challenges like cost maintainability, reusability, portability. So these are the various areas, various challenges which we came through during our research. Conclusion: e-governance enhances relationship between G2G, G2C, government to consumer, G20, C2G, and B2G using ICT. So e-governance involves citizen to participate in government's decision-making process. Impact of poor infrastructure, poverty, literacy, language dominance, and all other resorts. India has a number of award-winning e-government projects. So India is likely to soon emerge as a leader in e-governance due to the fact that there is current high level of political commitment and adequate source of funding. So e-governance is the key to the good governance for a developing country like India to minimize corruption, provide efficient and effective or quality services to their citizens. So thank you. And if any questions?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, all the information about the facilities provided by the government you have clearly mentioned in your slides.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yes,
So I
ma'am.
want to know that what are the future scopes of this paper?
Yeah. Future scope is like now with the emerging technologies, I guess this will be this will reach to each and every person, maybe in the rural areas and every corner of India, and with the support of government. So especially Modi government has uh, given various funding and all the support, and through which I guess it will be implemented at a much larger scale in future. And definitely India will be at the international level soon with this digital India initiative. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next paper.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
We will be proceeding with our next presentation. I'd like to invite Vaibhav Pratap Singh with the paper titled Enhancing Security in Wireless Communications Through Blockchain and Smart Contracts, a Comprehensive Study. You may start with your presentation, sir.
Hi, I just shared my screen. I hope it is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vaibhav Pratap Singh. I'm a student from Jamia Hamdard in Department of Computer Science and Engineering. I thank you for the opportunity given to be able to present this paper in this esteemed conference. My submissions are related to enhancing the security in wireless communications through blockchain and smart contracts. So basically, the wireless communication that plays a very crucial role in our interconnected world, and we are highly independent on the wireless communication networks. But on the same time, they are very prone to have the security threat and vulnerabilities regarding to the data transmissions and others. So it is the fundamental concept that we are using here with the blockchain, with the using the smart contracts. So that emphasizing their decentralized and transparent nature, and that we are reducing with this, we are reducing the various risks involved in the wireless communications. So in the as we know, as in the wireless communication, that is a very indispensable part of our daily lives, and we need to have the seamless connectivity and the information exchange. On the same time, it involves various risks like the security challenges and vulnerabilities related to the data transmission, identification of data thefts and unauthorized accesses, cyber threats, and less transparency. So by using the blockchain and smart contracts, with the integration of the blockchain and the smart contracts, it emerges as the promising avenue to bolster the security and integrity in the wireless communication systems. So the background comes with this the ubiquity of the wireless networks as led to the increased risk, as mentioned, related to the cyber threats. So it demanding the innovative solutions. So that is where we came up to this approach by using blockchain and blockchain with smart contracts. So just to quickly go with the blockchain, it is just the cutting edge technology, and which introduced earlier in 1990s and implemented in 2008 and 9 by Satoshi Nakamoto, which is based on the distributed ledger system. So currently, earlier it was used in the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and others, but now it is not limited to that only. So it can be used in the various other applications. So it is a kind of a shared database, and which is a different from the typical database. So in this blockchain, the data is stored in the different blocks, and it is shared to the all nodes in the network using the smart contracts. So it uses the various encryption layer and the cryptography. So once the it is kind of a decentralized database, so which is shared with the all client and in the nodes in the network. So it is a kind of a irreversible also. So once the data is entered, it is irreversible. So that makes it more transparent. So this paper focuses on the study of the various functional applications of the blockchain using smart contracts to avoid and to remove the security landscape in the wireless communications. So by stabilizing the decentralized transparent framework, so that is our intention to mitigate the various risks related to the data breaches, and as previously mentioned. So objective is to first to examining and then evaluating and then analyzing. So we are examining the foundational principle that we are going to use, and evaluating the potential application that we are going to use in the wireless communication security networks, and to implement it in the existing network, and then analyzing the benefit and the challenges that we foresee. So scope basically encompasses the broad range of topics related to the basic principle of the blockchain and smart contracts, and its practical implementation in the wireless communication network to be able to secure the data transmission and authentication processes in the network management systems. So its significance is to have the more reliable network and ensuring the confidentiality and the data integrity and the availability of the transmitted data, which is paramount. So this study is basically focusing on that, and to be able to implement it practically in the existing wireless network. So these are the related work which we have gone through during the study. So Mr. Jihang et al., which explores the combination and the fusion of the blockchain technology in the with the smart contract in the wireless communication.
Skip this slide.
Okay. Okay. So these are
Next.
the more of this. So
Yeah.
these are the proposed mechanism. Like we have the various layers of the system. So first is a kind of a physical layer, and which is further connected to the telecommunication networks also. So these are the RSU, the roadside unit, is kind of infrastructure, and basically this is the OBU, onboard unit, which is mounted on the vehicle. So it's a kind of a class locator that sends the geolocation of a particular vehicle, and it uses in the e-toll system and through the data transmission. And further it comes to the various RSU units that is connected to the record pool smart. This is the RPSC's unit and the PBFT. So this is connected to the PBFT system consensus mechanism. So basically it is the practical Byzantine fault tolerance, which basically it is the consensus mechanism system, and it works on the consensus algorithm that allows the distributed system to reach on a particular consensus. So basically it works as first the client send a request and to the primary, and then for any particular service the request is being sent. Then the primary multicast the request to the other in the node in the other network, to all the nodes in the network for the backups and all, and the replica that executes the request and sends the reply. So the other client is waits for the reply and with the same result. So kind of it makes it a more transparent one. And the another encryption layer is having the blockchain. This is the network layer. So basically in this we have first the relevant information of a particular block. So in this blockchain the data is stored in a kind of a blocks. So other is we have the hash of the previous block. So it is just the stored information and the unique identifier, which is in the hexadecimal numbers. So it is given to all the blocks in to each block, and then we have the Merkle unit, Merkle root. So which is basically the kind of a mathematical way to verify the data, which is data is passed which is undamaged and unaltered. So in this the next block in the network will have the hash of the previous block, and similarly all the blocks will have the hash of the previous block. So this way if any of the data is altered in the any of one of the blocks, so it will change the data for all other blocks and makes the data invalid. So therefore it is more encrypted in that way. So this is the mechanism we are trying to use in the existing telecom network. So this way, and we are going through the methodology with the literature review and understanding the blockchain and the smart contract. So we are reviewing the various papers that is presented in the slides before, and we are identifying the security challenges in the wireless communication network. So we identified one problem in the existing telecom network in the for the operator Airtel operator. So in my company, basically, while during the data transmission, we found the issue of a data leak kind of for the operator. So we are going to trying to implement this data. So then mapping the blockchain and smart contract that we are using, and to performing the case studies and prototyping to use it to evaluate in the simulation and the test labs, and then to implement that framework. Then we analyze the result and to conclude the implementation of this. So just to conclude, we are trying to use the fusion of the integration of the blockchain and the smart contracts. So basically, smart contracts are nothing but just the set of the codes or the mechanisms so that are being used in the transactions and used in the blockchain. So it's a fusion of the blockchain and the smart contracts, so that makes the wireless communication network more reliable and transparent, and avoid the security threats and other protocols in the network management system. So but the challenge is related to its scalability and the regulatory compliance that we are studying, and we look forward to produce its framework and to try to implement in the test labs accordingly. So this is my submission related to this. These are all references we have used. Thank you very much.
Okay, you use the PBFT consensus mechanism. Is there any disadvantage of this mechanism?
Yes, ma'am.
PBFT consensus mechanism you have used,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah.
So
Any disadvantage or any challenges, please?
yeah, basically, ma'am, for a smaller network, it should be okay. I mean, for a particular 2 or 3 sites or so. But if we try to implement in the very large network, so there will be a difficulty to handle this all the systems. So basically, we are focusing on this. So first, we try to implement on a small network. So if it is okay, then we produce. So basically, it is related to the telecommunication unit when we when the EPG actually evolved packet gateway, when transmits the data to the data transmission is done to the EPG to MME, the mobility management system. So then we found the data leakage for the particular nodes in the Airtel system. So there we try to use this.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We'll be proceeding with our next presenter for the day. I'd like to invite Sahit Bupala to present the paper titled Multilingual Indian COVID-19 Chatbot. You may start with your presentation, sir. Sir Sahit, if you're here with us, you may start with your presentation. It seems we do not have him. We'll be moving on with the next presenter, Subranil Das, to present the paper titled Predictive Paradigm, AI-driven social media analysis for the real estate sales forecasts. Sir, you may start with your presentation. So you're not audible yet. Your PPT is visible.
Hello, it's audible.
Yes, sir. Now you're audible.
So, good morning, good afternoon to everybody. My paper topic is predictive paradigm, AI-driven social media analysis for real estate forecasts. So, I'm the assistant professor in MIT World Peace University. I want to present this paper. So my present context, the contents of the roadmap is that the first the introduction of the topic, then what is the why we have selected this topic, motivated, then what is the methodology using behind this topic, and the methodology we have used the AI methods for predicting the real time states forecasts, then the different simulation results using the Python programming language, and lastly conclusion with references. So first is that what is the introduction of the sales forecasting. So because the sales forecasting is very very important topic in the case where the production or transportation or any decision making models are being done. So here we forecast any sales regarding to any product regarding any kind of product issues. So we forecast these issues. So the value of forecast is significantly surged in the recent years because due to the heightened because of customer expectations and different the navigate with the confines to the limited resources. So now we need to like a kind of proficient demand forecasting where it can results to the decrease inventory levels as well as the enhanced customer service. Now if any company like to implement any kind of forecasting model, there should be an relevant concepts, objective and principles behind it in order to achieve the objectives. So the absence of forecast may lead to like loss of sales or loss of profits, or decreased profits, or maybe some inventory surplus that will impose any additional cost to the kind of firms. So therefore in any kind of like distribution cost, any kind of the forecasting, the inventory managements are responsible for taking any kind of difficulties faced by the customers or the companies. So this was the introduction. Then we have, now what is the motivation? So five motivations we have find. First one is the impact on the decision making, and on the basis on the what we make decisions, that can be impact on the sales forecasting. Then second one is the market understanding and mastery. So we have to understand that the which type of markets we have to target on, and what kind of models we can design so that it can benefit to the customers also. Third is when the financial awards, like if the any company has produced a huge amount of profit margin, then we can award kind of profit or dividend to that company. Fourth one is the contribution to the sustainable development. As per the World Forum, it has been decided that is the some sustainable development goals are being taken. So how we can contribute to the this sustainable development, so that impact on the self forecastings get impacted on this kind of development goals. Then adaptation to the sustainable development. So there is different kind of models we have to design so that it can adapt it to each and every situation for the sustainable development. Next slide is that which is the methodology we have to, using. So the methodology we are using the machine learning models. So five different models we are using. First one is like the decision tree. A decision tree is a well-known used machine learning model where we make the decisions or predictions, and according how we make decision and prediction, that will give upon the values of the Gini impurity or any mean squared error for the classification and regression tasks. Second, a machine learning model we have used the random forest, where the random forest is used for the predictive modeling, and it comprises the ensembling the different decision trees, and we will select which one is the best sample for the prediction. Next one is the KNN, that's the K nearest neighbor modeling. In this the KNN, it gives the decision of kind of some like based on the proximity based classification. So if any data set with the high instances with the high dimensional features, then the KNN will classify the new data point and examine that which class it belongs. Next one is the fourth model we are using the k-means algorithms. So it is like a clustering technique where the different data points are clustered and they are classified into certain region. So this algorithm is also used for the prediction of the any data point. Last one is we have used the support vector machine. In the support vector machine, we have used the supervised learning technique where the different classes has been classified on the basis of the hyperplanes and the different feature space. And this support vector machine is also used to predict that the which data point has to be classified and how we predict it. So these are the five methods we have used for the for the classification. Now for the real data sets, what we have done, we have collected the data sets around the 200 respondents from the different backgrounds. So here in the first one is that we have classified the model on the basis of the male, female, and the combination of both. So female, the male represents comprises around the maximum more than 50 percentage, and there's a combination of female is also 34 percentage. Now on this basis, we have divided the different age groups basis on the 7 years of age group, starting the age group of from 18 years to the 50 more than 56 years. So here we see that the maximum participation has occurred in the age of 18 to 25 years of people, followed by the 26 to 35 age, because they are maximum, they are on the they are doing jobs on the different companies. Now after selecting these data sets, now we have created a data sheet Excel, where we have post this interest in the different platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So as per this four social media, we have categorized into that different, how much they are using for the Facebook, and how many individual using the Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn. So we can post these advertisements like sales of the different flats or different kind of forecasting by using these four media platforms. Then after that, what we have observed that after using the different AI algorithms, we have classified the sales forecasting in the form of a real time forecast. Now here real time forecast means that we have used the data which is based on the Pune city on the Maharashtra, and the forecasting is that how much the flat 1 BHK or 2 BHK or 3 BHK flats could be sold. So on the basis of data, we have classified the five algorithms, where the green, we have seen the prediction of sales that could be sales in the next year and next quarter, how much this fails, how much sale of the flats can occur. So in the fourth one is the green point. It means that the KNN algorithm has forecasted the 66 percentage of sales could be the much more dominant factor, and it could rise to the profit margin also. So that could be one of the percentage prediction of the sales. And another is that the customer services, so how much we impose on the customers, that how much customers could incline that this could be a benefit factor for increasing the sales. So the last the algorithm, that was the fifth algorithm, it has on the 58.8 percentage prediction of the customers are satisfied with what are the services they have offered. So these are the data, these are the simulation results we have occurred for the Python, and we have collected data more than 200 respondents. So now finally the conclusion is that we have utilized that five diverse machine learning algorithms, which shows the potential of each advanced analytics in this domain. And future could be like we have to go for other real estate markets and real markets to see the whatever the models we have proposed, how much the robustness should be there. So we have analyzed this model, and we have given these results also. So these are the references, and this we have taken, and so thank you very much.
What are the future scope of this paper?
Future scope is that we have to we have to see the how much the future using, I've told using different estates markets, like real estates markets. You have to across the diverse geographical locations, like in the Pune, or could be another states also. So this is the one of the basic development we have taken, and we can take more other upcoming markets also. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be proceeding ahead with our next presenter. I'd like to invite K. Deepa Tilak to present the paper titled Racist and Abusive Memes Classification Using Deep Learning Techniques. Can you start with your presentation, ma'am?
Yes. Screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, it is
Yeah,
visible.
okay. Good afternoon, and all present here. Yeah, I'm Dr. K. Deepa Tilak, to present the paper Racist and Abusive Meme Detection Using Deep Learning Techniques. The main objective or main motivation why we have taken this concept is in social media, which is prevalent today, and most of the people are using, there is a wrong way of motivating the people towards the wrong information and racist information using memes, which is more prevalent today. So we are trying to find solution to detect this meme and also to classify them, and we try to stop the spread of this memes to all the social media. Once detected as a offensive, it is to be stopped from spreading in the social media. So that is a thing we are focusing. The abstract is to focus on the social media. Spreading of this wrong offensive meme should be prevented and spreading should be stopped. So this is the introduction. And the survey, we have taken some papers where the authors were focusing on the memes, detecting the memes. And they taken the samples from tweet and other social media platforms, and they worked on detecting whether the meme is racism or not. And they forgot to classify whether it is the offensive they are identified, but if they fail to classify whether it is a sexism or a criticism or what type of offensive means it is. And some papers have taken some fixed length of paper. So for example, 180 characters, based on that only they are gotten there focusing on, and some methods fail to have good accuracy. So based on this, we have framed the challenges we had, and based on this, we formed the objectives. The objective is to develop a deep learning model which can accurately detect and classify the memes to be offensive, and if it is offensive, classify it whether it is a sexism or based on the criticism of a common group. So that is the main thing. After classifying them, whether they are based on the criticism or sexism, we try to stop the spread of the meme. So that stopping, how can be done in the social media, the real-time portal, which is still under progress. Okay. So this is the overall idea architecture diagram where we are taking the image, whatever the images from the social media picture, the text are extracted using the OCR model. So this optical character recognition model will extract from the image, whatever digital image we give, it will first convert into the binary. That is, convert all the images will be in form of RGB, that is a grayscale. From that, we'll be converting it into the black and white form. Why we are using black and white is that time we reduced because we are going to segment the images based on the text, the blocks, table blocks, or any graphics is there. So we are going to segment the images. For segmenting purpose, before segmenting, we'll need to perform this conversion so that it takes less time to perform that. After converting it, we'll be segmenting based on the words. So blocks of words will be identified, and these blocks of words will be checked for text style. So this text style testing, why it is done is to identify what language it is, because in the social media, any language will be there. We can have all types of languages, the memes will be created. So to identify, fix the text we taken from the image with the image language, we are going to check with the text style. So the features of these text which I extracted from the image is compared with the already stored feature vectors. And with the matches, first we'll identify the language first based on the text style. Then after identifying this from the text style, we'll be getting the characters. Then we have to find which language we identified. Then we have to identify the characters. So this for character checking, once I identify the language which the text matches, I have to identify the characters respect to the language. For that, we are going to form the character classification, which compares all the feature which I extracted, we compared with the character vectors. We might map the corresponding text with the right character of that particular language which is selected. And this is the first phase where this is done, text extraction is done. And after that, the data is pre-processed. So after extracting the text from the image, we are going to process it so that it can remove that, eliminate the stop words punctuation, any other special characters, which is not, we need only the words. That based on the words only we are going to classify it as a offensive or defensive. So remove all the unnecessary data which is not relevant to the proposal. So that happens in the data pre-processing, and we are going to perform the pre-training model. This pre-training will be using this pre-training it to extract all the visual and the textual features and optimize it. So fine-tune with the target. Then we'll be using the algorithm, robot algorithm, BERT and CNN we applied, train the model. After training the model, we compared all these three algorithms, Robota and this BERT and this CNN. Comparatively, we saw that since we know BERT, Robota is an advanced version of BERT, Robota gave better accuracy compared to other two algorithms in classifying them into offensive or non-offensive. And if it is offensive, it is able to classify it's based on criticism-based mean or it is a sexism-based mean. After identifying this, we can try to stop how to work on the stopping of spreading of these messages, which is under progress. We have the idea of to create some hashtag not to spread like that. Based on this, still the work is under progress. So it's an overall explanation of all these modules. So where we collect the data from the website scrapping will be done from different websites. The images are taken and the model is trained. So optical category extracting the text, we use OCR. And for data pre-processing, text and feature extractions are done. So text will use all the thing will be removing and annotation. So once we have done this text extraction, annotate the data based on the words, whatever extracted and pre-processed, we are going to map it to the what type of offensive mechanism. So the word from the word, the model will map it to criticism, or it is sexism, or it is non-offensive. So that is annotating the data set. Then training and done by the Robota, CNN, and BERT. So this is a sample data set where the labeling has happened for the text which is extracted from the image, the mapping criticism. So like this, the algorithm will map it and identify what type of meme it is. If it is offensive, it should be stopped. The alert message, so far it has, after that we have received. In this example, image, and the comparison of the analysis where precision recall F-score is taken, where we focused only on the two positives. So how correctly it classifies the memes into offensive and non-offensive, and based on that, criticism and sexism. So this is the overall comparison, shows that Robota gives better in all the three metrics. So it's accuracy, so Robota gives better accuracy, and still we are in the progress of how to stop, whether we can create some hashtag or what mode of communicating so that we can prevent this memes, offensive memes from spreading throughout the social media. So this is a comparison. Yes, yes, ma'am. So this conclusion, the assist comments are becoming more frequent, so we have to detect it, and after detecting, we should prevent them from spreading so that the social media seems to be taken towards a positive manner. So that's a work. So far, we achieved Robota is using a good accurate prediction. Then we are in progress. In future work, we are in progress of how to stop that spreading of that racism. That is a memes, wrong memes towards the social media. So these are the references. Thank you.
What are the future scope you have mentioned in your project?
Future scope is, ma'am, we have so far we have detected the memes. After that, we have to how to stop it from spreading in the other platforms, social media platforms.
Okay. Very good presentation.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
We'll be proceeding with our next presenter. I'd like to invite Chandan Thakur to present the paper titled Smart Rack System Using AI. You may start with your presentation, sir.
Yeah, sure. Let me know once my screen is visible.
Sure. Sure, sir. It is visible now.
Okay. So, hello everyone, good afternoon. This is Chandan Thakur, and I am honored to be here today to share my insight on the topic smart track using AI. Yeah. So currently I am doing my MTech from KJ Somaiya College of Engineering, Mumbai. Throughout my career in MTech, I have had the privilege of collaborating with professors like Dr. Bhakti Palkar ma'am, Dr. Prasanna Shetty sir, and Dr. Deepak Sharma sir. I'm always eager to connect with fellow researchers and professionals. So please feel free to reach out to me if you would like to discuss on topics such as this. And now, without further ado, let's dive into other slides. So let's imagine a scenario wherein you visit a supermarket like DMart or Reliance, and you go there to buy a Maggie. But there you find noodles Yippee noodles, Norse noodles, and some other like Ching's noodles, and you don't find Maggie in that store. Imagine this happens to you twice or thrice. Won't you get frustrated? Will you go to buy Maggie in that store again? No, right? Because you will get a perception that Maggie is always not available in that store, right? So just imagine that did the Maggie really went out of stock in that supermarket, or it was just not there on the rack? There are high chances that they might have Maggie in their warehouses. So situation like this prevents customer from buying from particular store, as we get perception that a particular product is not always available in that store. So it is difficult to for a supermarket to keep track of the products that are on the shelf, and it is really important to maintain the efficiency of supply of the products. So integration of AI is really helpful and might make things really better for supermarkets. So as we saw in previous slide, that is it cost more manpower, resources to keep track of the products. AI can really be helpful to better management of products. So in a study in a analysis of SPD group, they have found that 49% of the respondents believe that AI will drastically reduce the supply chain expenses. 44% of them think that AI will increase the productivity. Means if we are having suppose 10 staff looking at the products, then if we use the help of AI, then those 10 staff will work on other stuff, and AI will do the monitoring. And 43% of the respondents are confident that AI would significantly increase the supply chain market and gradually improve the cost efficiency in the supermarket. So my objective in this paper is to detect products from the rack. So there are 10 different classes in the data set which I'm using, and the classes are milks, cold drinks, biscuit, noodles, etc. So I have done few literature surveys on few papers. So in first paper, the authors have used around 1247 images, and they have used YOLO v3, and they have achieved around 75% of the accuracy. In the second paper, the authors have used around 16,000 images on 400 objects, and where they have used the UNET and MTCNN, and therein they got around 79% of map, that is mean average precision. In third paper, the authors have used comparative analysis of YOLO 1, YOLO v2, YOLO v3 models. And in fourth paper, the author have used the RCNN model, wherein they have got 98% of map. And in last paper, the author have used around 11,000 images for training on different 10 classes, and where they have achieved 97% of the accuracy. So my proposed methodology is to, I will show it. The first one is data extraction. So I'm using simple image downloader, which is a Python library. From there, I have downloaded 2400 images. of 10 different classes. We just need to supply the list of objects and number of images we want, and this library will give that. So annotation, I have done it manually using a website makesense.ai. So for annotation, each image of each object should be particularly labeled accordingly. So in data pre-processing, uh, there are around 2400 images. So I have divided the data into 75:25 ratio. So 75% of the data will go to training model and 25% will be used for testing purpose. So in model configuration, I have configured the YOLO files. So wherein I have hypertuned some parameters like batch size, height and width of the input images, channels equal to 3, which is for RGB, and something like that. So and model training, I have used two models, YOLO v3 and YOLO v5. So I will be using different metrics. So one is precision, one is recall, and one is mean average precision. So precision refers to a number of correctly detected object out of total numbers of detections. On the other hand, recall measures the ability of the system to detect all the object in the images. High recalls indicates the system can detect most of the images from most of the object from one image. And map, that is mean average precision, is the evaluation metric which is used to measure the accuracy of the object detection system. So when I trained the model on YOLO v3, I got this output where you can see the model is not correctly identifying. It is identifying the bounding boxes, but as you can see for biscuit, for one biscuit, it is showing that it is a biscuit, but for other, it is showing that this is a wafer and this is a bread, which is not quite accurate. And similarly, if I supply this image to the YOLO v5 model, then you can see all the biscuits are correctly identified as a biscuit, and the model is performing really well. So I had done the analysis between the YOLO v3 and YOLO v5, and I found that the YOLO v5 is giving a better accuracy, not just in terms of numbers, but also in terms of real world accuracy. So then I trained the YOLO v5 into 100 and 500 epochs, and I got a really good accuracy, the overall accuracy of 98.2% in 500 epochs in YOLO v5. To conclude that, as we saw in the literature survey, YOLO v5, YOLO v3 are giving better accuracy than other models like a mobile net SSD and all. And as the experiment we have went through, we saw that YOLO v3 is not giving the accurate results. And hence we can conclude that YOLO v5 is giving much better accuracy as well as the real-time accuracy than the YOLO v3. And to improve the overall accuracy of YOLO v5, we can supply the YOLO v5 model with more number of images to train with, and further we can get a better accuracy if we supply more number of images and more number of classes. So these are the abbreviations that was there in the slide, and these are the papers that I have referred for this thesis. And thank you.
Any challenge you are facing to implement these results by
Yes.
using this algorithm?
Yes, ma'am. In some cases, the images were not proper. Like I will show you one image. Like
Yeah.
here, YOLO IFI is detecting. Just a second. Yeah, here YOLO IFI is detecting these many objects as a biscuit, but this is also a biscuit. So, as I told you that we need to supply the model with more number of images, and not only more number of images but different type of images. Means this image is trained by this angle, but this is this biscuit is lying down. So we need to train our model in different images from taking the images from different angle, and then it will be able to detect all the images that are all the objects that are there in the images. So that is only the difficulty I have found.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We'll be proceeding ahead with the next speaker, Vijay Lakshmi B, with the paper titled Vikaspedia, Leveraging Technology for a Digital Informed and Empowered Bharat. You may start with your presentation, ma'am.
Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Um, okay. Good afternoon. I would just briefly be presenting about Vikaspedia initiative, which is with the objective of leveraging technology in order to bring a digitally empowered information society. The introduction to it is, we know that Sustainable Development Goal 16.10 insists on ensuring public access to information in order to provide inclusive societies. And as a result, the UN e-governance digital initiative um, ranks member in countries to find out how equitable they are in terms of providing access to development information, especially for citizen engagement and participation. And the other important factor is the general pattern of dwindling Indian language resources in cyberspace, which is actually seen in in Wikipedia, whereby close to 10 to 12 Indian languages have already entered the red zone with minimal number of editors. This is the same with respect to most government initiatives, whereby English and one or two Indian languages are focused, whereas the citizen from across the country requires information in multiple Indian languages. Now, in order to address these bottlenecks or challenges, AI capabilities in terms of providing a digital ecosystem which will promote the availability of multilingual knowledge sharing and participation for digital empowerment was embarked on. So, with this objective, there were three important areas which were looked upon. One is to have a crowdsourcing platform, which will actually scale up and sustain multi-stakeholder digital ecosystem to provide a collaborative knowledge sharing platform in Indian languages. Second is to strengthen the digital capacities of first level service providers. And third is to harmonize the ongoing digital knowledge generation initiatives. So the complete ecosystem consists of 5 enablers. It is a multi-stakeholder ecosystem with technology enablers, capacity enablers, knowledge enablers, and sustainability enablers. The technology enablers are a collaborative knowledge sharing platform which is available in Vikaspedia.in, which is multilingual, caters to multiple sectors. It is multimodal in terms of access. It is international domain names enabled. It's responsive. It's cloud enabled and open source. It also has provisions for AML in order to simplify knowledge discovery. ASR tools have been integrated besides machine-assisted translation tools. Analytics are also made available so that there would be an extensive use of the information that is made available at the platform. There's capacity enablers, which actually deals with training of master trainers in order to share content through national workshops, institutionalized training of first level service providers, thematic outreach campaigns, incentives and awards for contributors, and catering to an alert mechanism for people who are actually part of the platform. There are knowledge enablers, which have communities of practice, which are digital content innovation challenges, enabling a cross-platform content sharing APIs, digital knowledge maps, and with special focus on low language and also regions which are far fledged, like the northeastern region, and also having an importance of accessibility to make it more inclusive. In order to enable that this is a national initiative, we've also taken care that it synergizes with other initiatives and leverages the existing resources of ongoing programs. which is also an important in terms of the sustainability pillar. So the current status of this initiative over a period of 5 years is it caters to close to 6 important key domains of agriculture, health, education, social welfare, energy, and governance. There are also 2 special sections on aspirational districts and digital catalog of schemes. It's available in all 22 constitutionally recognized languages besides English. There are close to about 1.6 lakh collaborators besides 300 institutions who are part of this crowdsourcing platform, and about 1.1 million multilingual, multi-format information resources have been crowdsourced on this platform. And these are some metrics on how it is being utilized. We are able to have a 3.5 crore citizens reach, besides having 3 million page views per day. Now, a third-party evaluation was also done of the project, and these have been documented as the outcome. One is a user base, which spreads that 68% of the user base of Wikispedia comes from a rural background, and the age group predominantly is of 21 to 40 years, with the user categories being self-employed entrepreneurs and students and telecenter operators. The preferred mode of access has been through mobile, and the frequency of visit is 40% daily. The most sought after information is policies and scheme, best practices, and self-employed employment-related content. When it comes to the language preference, 73% of the audience preferred local language over English, and it recorded a 68% of user satisfaction of the platform. The key benefits in terms of outcomes are improved awareness on government policies, addressing the latent information needs of people, especially women, in terms of reproductive health, assisted in taking informed decisions. It's a valued source of information according to the survey that was done by the third party. And it also contributed to improved use of internet for productive functions like personal, social, and economic part. The challenges we face is largely because of reluctance and knowledge sharing by institutions, primarily because they don't have knowledge sharing policies, or there are knowledge sharing initiatives which are in silos happening in various institutions. The complexity of Indian language scripts, the vocabulary used in Indian languages, especially the flavors, absence of tools, especially to check multilingual plagiarism, and also authenticate the information correctness and the ownership rights. The diminishing language proficiency, especially among the youth, the maturity levels of tools for various Indian languages, especially machine translation tools, which only can sometimes cater to 30 to 40% accuracy. Continuous content updation for a large repository like this is also a challenge. And the volunteers, since it's a volunteer initiative, motivating them in terms of just non-financial is also a critical aspect. The large amount of gender balance that exists in terms of content contributors with very less participation of women is a cause of concern and a challenge. Financial viability in maintaining low resource languages like Dongri, Sanskrit, Santali, etc. are some of the challenges we face. Now, coming to the future roadmap, we tend to have a AML CMS solution so that these technology areas can be leveraged in case of assisted drafting, in case of making a more intuitive UI UX with a mobile friendly approach, personalizing content delivery, enabling a voice-based service, and in testing content summarization and knowledge discovery, so that we would be able to massively reach out in terms of information resources, user contributors, and then also to value add to the large set of data sets on open data platforms, so that the multilingual ecosystem in the country as such grows. Thank you.
User satisfaction is very important, right?
Yeah.
In your presentation, you have told that 68 user is satisfied.
Yeah. Because in a law, see, madam, this is actually a national initiative, and it caters to about multiple domains. And the sample size is about 1 million, because it was a national level third party evaluation which was done. So fulfilling everybody's information requirements on a platform that to multilingual, as I said, looking into the challenges of the content availability, the slang of the content, the form of the content. So by standards of the industry, 30 to 40% is what is achievable even on platforms like Wikipedia, because by nature of its volume, by nature of the scope of content, and by nature of the complexity in Indian languages as such.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a last presenter for the day, Sahit Bupala, with the paper titled Multilingual Indian COVID-19 Chatbot. Sir, if you're here, then you may start your presentation. Sir Sahit? It seems we do not have Sir Sahit with us in the session. This brings us to the conclusion of the session. I sincerely thank our authors for their excellent presentations and contribution in this session, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough. We, on behalf of the whole team, thank you for the support during the 8th version and the previous 7 versions of the conference. We will be happy to have you in the 9th version in 2025. All the presenters will be getting their digital certificates through email within 2 working days. Further all the papers have been already forwarded to the Springer. The publication will be live within 6 months. Kindly cooperate with the team of SMARTCOM 2024. I also thank the session chair, Dr. Vijeta Kumawat, for chairing the session. Thank you for your valuable presence, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation. And I congratulate all the participants, and I give my best wishes to them for their research work. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I kindly request everyone to switch on their camera for a quick snapshot of the virtual conference. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe and take care.